Alrighty, looks like we've got adventures today and cornucopia guilds. Okay, mostly adventures though. Yeah, just the top left two are from corn guilds. The landscapes are trade and ferry. Ferry tends to be quite strong. For example, if you want a 5 in the opening, you can turn 1 buy ferry, put it on the card you want, turn 2 open with that card. So it's like always having access to the 5/2 if you want it. What else is happening here? For draw, there's Journeyman. It's like a fancy smithy. Storyteller. Magpie if it reveals a treasure. And I think that's it for draw. For villages, Coin of the Realm is a village. For trashing, just Miser. And that can only set aside coppers. Oftentimes, if Miser is the only trashing, you just rather deal with 7 coppers in your deck than try to set them aside with Miser because it's so slow. Trade also can deal with. Yeah, trade actually looks better. Now, trade is not normally really thinning, like converting 2 estates into 2 silvers, for example. It's improving the quality of your deck, but you're not actually reducing the number of cards in your deck at all, which is usually what you want out of a thinner. Here it kind of is thinning because you could then play the silvers with Storyteller to convert them into draw. And then plus buy is Wine Merchant or Messenger. Okay, so given that the plus buy is all terminal, you probably do want to play with Coins of the Realm for villages. And then you could play with Journeyman. Maybe Soothsayer could be decent here. The curses are not that easy to deal with, and gold's not bad with Storyteller around. And if you're playing with Coin, actually, Coin gets a bit better in the context of Storyteller, I think. So Coin of the Realm compared to Village, it's actually a bona fide +2 actions. You know, Village says +2 action, and it's really +1 action because you have to spend an action to play it. Coin is a treasure, so if it says +2 actions, you're getting +2 actions out of it. 1 coin means you could play 3 terminal action cards. The downside of Coin is you can only effectively use it every other turn. Like if you play a coin turn 5, then you can call it in the action phase of turn 6, play 3 action cards, but then it's out of play. You have to set it aside again turn 7, and then you call it turn 8, and so on. So to get 3 actions played per turn, you could add 2 villages that you play every turn, or 2 coins, each of which covers 2 actions, but you have to play them on opposite turns, and they're kind of alternating. But here, what you could do is you could play the Coin of the Realm in the action phase with Storyteller, get +1 card immediately, and then while you're still in the action phase, call it the same turn and get the 2 actions. And so it's basically just accelerating how quickly the card works. Every coin in your deck could be +2 actions every turn if you're getting them in play via Storyteller instead of in the buy phase. So it means you can get more actions out of fewer of them per turn. So probably want some number of coins, probably want some number of Storytellers. Gonna want at least 1 copy of Magpie early on, just because Magpie, you always get 1, and then it turns into 10 of them if your opponent does nothing about it. Journeyman I could see getting. Wine Merchant and or Messenger, not sure which. Maybe Soothsayer, probably a pair of dungeons for start of turn reliability. Alright, 3-4, how to open. Setting aside Fairy for the moment, I would think probably Dungeon Magpie would be the most natural opening in the 3 and 4s category. Both cards I very much want reasonably good at hitting 5. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else jumping out to me. So now considering Fairy, are there any 5s that I'd rather open with? Possibly Journeyman? Outside of Journeyman is it's going to leave you with a 7-card hand. Uh, you have a 5-card hand, you play 1, you draw 3. And there's a good chance, for example, if that hand is 5 coppers, 2 estates. That's going to be a really nice hand for trading away 2 estates. And then your deck is like all coppers and silvers, and you're hitting 5 pretty consistently from there on out. Uh, the downside of that deck, I think, of that opening is, well, you're going to have to plus buy at some point, and your plus buy is terminal. And if you haven't added any Coins of the Realm yet, well, then you can't play the Journeyman alongside the plus buy cards. It's not easy to see where it goes from there. Like, you're going to be hitting big numbers consistently, but without the plus buy to make use of that, I don't think. So I don't think I'm loving that. Soothsayer opening just sounds like you're giving up on the kingdom. Yeah, I don't think that looks any good. Storyteller, no. Swamp Hag, no. Wine Merchant, maybe? That sounds a little bit better than the Journeyman opening. It's the same thing. You play a Wine Merchant, you spike a big number. If you have two estates in your hand, you maybe just buy trade that turn. But then your deck already has plus buy in it in the form of Wine Merchant, and then you could pick up some coins and then add Journeyman afterwards. That seems more natural. So I think I'm between Fairy Wine Merchant, buy Wine Merchant versus just Magpie Dungeon. Is there anything? Oh, what about you could fairy something to put it in the 4 cost range, and then distribute a copy of it to you and your opponent with Messenger. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe like if you distributed a pair of storytellers, perhaps, and that benefits you more because you've already got a Messenger in your deck that you want to cycle. That's probably getting too fancy. I'm just going to keep it simple and click Dungeon and Magpie. But I think you can make a case for opening Wine Merchant. The bot is going for Soothsayer. I think you could add a Soothsayer here. The problem with Soothsayer is if it's the first card you're adding to your deck, you're slowing your opponent down with the curses, but you're slowing yourself down too. You added a terminal stop card, which is gaining you a bunch more stop cards in the form of gold, well before you have any use for the golds, and then your deck just kind of never comes together. I think you want to have some level of deck control before you have the Soothsayer, so that you don't end up junking yourself. Okay, so hit 3 here. I won't be hitting 5 next turn. So maybe this turn I Fairy the Wine Merchant, and next turn I buy the Wine Merchant. I could also just add one more copy of Dungeon here, and then hope to hit 5 off of the Magpies pretty soon, because I do have 2 copies of them now. I think I prefer that plan. Oh, also, I didn't even think about it, but like, the fact that you're drawing your opponent a card is a pretty big downside. That actually is. Oh, never mind. It's not going to give me to 5 because I drew 2 estates. That gave me a very high chance of getting to 5. That I just happened not to succeed at. Okay. Seriously considering Messenger here. I don't really need a third Magpie. I should get Magpies eventually off of my existing Magpies. I don't need more dungeons. I wanted plus buy. I was going to take the Wine Merchant, but what if I distribute a Messenger? That sounds fun. Sorry, a Miser. I meant to say Miser. Um, Not a card I can really justify putting in the deck, but if the bot gets one too, I feel like it can't hurt my deck more than it hurts the bots. Okay, I got 5. Uh, I just Storyteller for the moment. I don't have any coins yet, which I'll fix here. Let's just take 2 coins. Alright, now I'm looking to spike enough money to trade a bunch of cards away all at once. Did I get that here? It looks like I do. I think I'm not going to discard here, because I have my Storyteller and a Dungeon down there, which is probably an above average set of cards. Let's go ahead and trade. The bot's just buying gold outright. That disgusts me. Don't do that in public, bot. Okay, what am I doing here? I've got a coin down, so I could play both of these. I kind of want to trade away a curse and an estate. If I discard, like, I'm just going to click this so I can see more clearly and maybe undo. So I set aside a copper, call the coin, play the messenger, discard 5 cards. I have just enough money to buy trade and nothing else. Alternatively, I could discard, say, estate and miser, play the messenger. Then I would have 6, 8 money. I could do like a trade and a second coin. I think I like thinning the copper. Very happy to see the storyteller on top. That's a little bit fortunate. Obviously, I have the dungeons to help me find it, but at the moment, the biggest weakness on my deck is I only have the 1 draw card, which I need to fix this turn. Okay, let's play coin, silver, silver. You don't have to worry so much about triggering a bad shuffle. You get Messenger because it just discards the whole deck. If I didn't have a Messenger, I probably would have thought twice before triggering a shuffle that's full of terrible cards. Okay, so probably top priority right now is adding another draw card, which I think is Storyteller. Obviously looks like a beautiful hand for trade, but I don't want to keep relying on finding the one Storyteller return. Okay, I'm just going to spend all of this, make sure I find as much as I can. Now I got to think a little bit. With Storyteller, you can convert your money into draw, and there is such a thing as spending too much money on draw, because if you draw to the end of your deck, but you then way overdrew, you're wasting money that you might have needed. So here, I think, am I the only one with magpies? That might be the case. Yeah, again, so my discard pile has 2 magpies and 4 stop cards. I think I just spend about as much as I need to draw. I got like 7 cards that I need to draw, right? Like subtract out the 2 magpies from the 9 cards. Magpies can maybe draw me 2 of those cards, but I don't want to count on it. Okay, so this is draw me 6. As it so happens, annoyingly, the magpies are both in the bottom 3. So I think I'll leave those there. Call coin. Put a copper aside. Trade again. Okay. And in this turn, I think I probably need more plus buy for the deck, because I only have the 1 messenger. Okay, I got 10 money. How about, you want another miser? As I've already got how many of the coppers down? I set aside 4 coppers with the miser that we both got. The bot has not done that once, which is not surprising. Miser does not benefit the bot's deck at all. So I think that card benefits me more than the bot. Perhaps that. We'll see if this ends up biting me in the butt. Uh, that trade maybe could have been like another storyteller or a journeyman. I still only have the 2 draw cards in my deck. So my deck could go poorly if I don't manage to find one. Pitch silvers to the discard because Magpie can draw them. Okay, those are all stop cards. Let's get a coin down. And I think that's fine. Oops, I did not mean to click end actions. Discard the silver. Okay. So I have one more coin and at least one more draw card, maybe 2 more. I'm kind of seriously thinking about just another Messenger Miser pair, actually. Kind of village intensive, but with a 3rd storyteller, I think I can support that. I was not expecting this to become a Miser game, not even slightly. But it feels like it's worked out just fine. And then get the coins down so that I can call them the same turn, because I now have a bunch of terminal actions in the deck. I think 1 silver should do enough here. Well, I leave 1 silver in the bottom, that's not a big deal. Call a coin. Call a coin. Discard the silver. Okay. So yeah, I want more draw. Maybe Messenger distributing a pair of coins. Not sure how many I need in total. Uh, could be. I could buy two provinces now. It's probably reasonable. Um, so I was hitting 32 and 4 buys this turn. But with Storyteller Round, if you add extra junk to your deck, you've also effectively reduced the amount of payload you have because you're going to have to spend more money to draw your deck. So if I just bought like a bunch of provinces and victory cards here, I wouldn't hit 32 again. So I think maybe, well, how about one more Messenger Miser, one more Storyteller, and two provinces? And then I should hit, even if the bot didn't buy a province there, I think I would have hit 4 provinces this turn. What I'm going to do to make sure I kick off, I have one coin down, right? Yeah. So I'm going to lead with playing a Miser, take coins, call it, plus coins, now Storyteller, and there's like my whole deck. And that should be more than enough. Where are my silvers? There's my silvers. And let's play the last two. I didn't manage to find the silver, but I don't think it was worth trying because it would have cost me 2 more money to draw all 4 cards to kind of defeat the point. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure Miser makes any sense here in the average case. It just kind of worked out that I wanted a messenger, I had to pass something out, and it just looked like Miser was the thing that hurt the bot's deck more than mine. And then once I got a bunch of coppers down, well, then the Miser helped my deck more than it helped the bots. That might not be true in most scenarios here. I don't think I would plan around having Miser be the main payload most of the time. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I'm underrating it. It felt like a pleasant side effect of how this kingdom was playing out. I think what the bot did here just doesn't make any sense. I don't think this is a big money kingdom. You have more than enough deck control. I don't believe in the Soothsayer deck at all. Certainly not, 2 Soothsayers and then just like no draw whatsoever. I think you could add a Soothsayer here. I think if you took a Soothsayer early and then we're just like very heavily click and draw cards after that, maybe. I think the ideal time to add a Soothsayer would be, I don't know, somewhere like turn 5 to 8, maybe, once you've already got some semblance of deck control. As it turns out, I feel like Soothsayer wasn't even required here at all. But I wouldn't rule it out at a certain stage. Not the stage the bot was gaining, and not to the exclusion of the rest of the kingdom for sure. I think this was one of Hardbot's worst kingdoms of recent memory. I don't recall the last time it botched a kingdom. I feel like it's been doing well recently. This one just seemed like crashing and burning.